Got it. Okay, so I love to see you all here, and I really love it when you smile at me. I know we're going to talk about a pretty big topic today, and we're going to be coaching into it. This is a fantastic time to master our boundaries. What a big word, right? So I'm Coach Laura Bender. I'm a grandma. I have a 10-year-old grandson, an 8-year-old granddaughter. I'm 67 years old. I've been married to poor Ken Bender for 40 plus years. We lived together, kind of a fun fact. We lived together for the first 3 years, and then we were illegally married by a Sioux medicine man in 1982. And then we got legally married in 1989 because he was going to Japan to teach at a high school. And we wanted to come with him and live there for a year. So that's a fun fact about me, a little bit more about me. I've been coaching women one-on-one for over almost 30 years now. First in fitness, then in mind-body fitness, and now in leadership and feminine empowerment. And it really makes me happy. I love it when we stand in our power and we speak our truth. So today we're going to open up. I have my notes here. So we're going to open up with talking about boundaries and where they start. Now, if you don't have the workbook, make sure you direct message me so I can send you the link. This is an incredible workbook. I'm really happy about it. Part of my background is I taught argumentation and debate at the University of Montana when I was 23 years old. And I'm one of those weirdos that do a lot of different things, right? And so part of that was, as a teacher, I wanted to make sure every time I was able to teach or coach a class that you guys left with something. And I'm really happy with this workbook. It's awesome. By the way, Tara, thank you for coming. Juanita, Jackie, Petra, Elizabeth, Jen. I know there's more of you here because it says there's 10. Don't be shy, ladies. Stand up and be counted. Okay, so I'm going to be looking at my notes as we move through this. So we're going to learn about how boundaries start in our body. You know, our body knows what's happening way before the rest of us. And so my question for you guys is, you know, we're really here to shift from overwhelm to hell yes boundaries. And that's really important. So when you think of the word boundary, what comes up for you? A wall, a fence, a no, or maybe something else? Let me know in the chat. Just drop your comments down there. Just pew, pew, pew. Let me see if I can move this down. Hey, how come no one's answering? What's a boundary to you guys? Oh, it's a cliff. Yeah. A fence. Yep. A wall. What else? Well, a no. Yes, absolutely. A no is a boundary. What else, guys? Anything else? A fence, a wall, a no. Okay. Sure, boundaries can mean different things to different people, but what we know for sure is the word boundary kind of comes out kind of negative. It kind of confuses us, right? But I think really what we're talking about is what are our limits, you know? I think that's really important for us to talk a little bit about because boundaries are really hard, aren't they? It's a hard thing because we're not used to setting boundaries. And what I want to tell all of you that I think is really important, and I put this into my notes because I didn't want to forget it. A boundary is really, it's a dividing line that defines us as who we are, who you are as an individual, and how you interact with others. And when we know that to be true, that's really liberating. Because when we show up as who we are, and we're using a lot of words these days called authentic, I want to be authentic, all these things, but yet we don't really master saying and sharing with people who we are. And that's really what a boundary is. So it's us establishing ourselves as an individual and who we are. Boundaries really define what's me, my body, my feelings, my property, my responsibilities, and all those things, you know. But it also defines what's not me. So what's not you? Boundaries are also how we communicate and how we want to be treated by others. And that's really important. How do you want to be treated by other people? Right? Absolutely, Juanita says. Yes. How do you guys want to be treated by people? You know, what's really important to you? Let me know in the chat. I really want people to be nice to me. I don't like mean people. How about you? you know, and our boundaries make it really clear that you're unique. And I love that. I love when we get to celebrate our unique selves, not be afraid, And also, it's autonomous. We're an autonomous person, not simply an extension of someone else. And Jackie, yeah, respect is really important. And I think when we talk about respect, that gets a little bit murky, doesn't it? But your body knows what respect feels like, doesn't it? Even if your brain doesn't, right? And so Jen says, right, respect your nose for not having to repeat or provide a rational of your needs. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really, what tips us off is what we feel first. Okay. It's important that we're clear because when we identify who we are, because that identifies us as individuals and it clarifies for the other person, this is who I am and this is what I need. So really, boundaries are absolutely essential to our health, our happiness, and our success, right? That's really important, okay? Sometimes we lose track of who we are if we don't know what our boundaries are. And it's natural because we're so used to, not standing up for ourselves. We're really learning how to do that, right? And you don't want to make people mad. You don't want to be a bad person. There's a lot of things that play into this. But there's a really good way to do this. We don't have to feel frustrated or exhausted. We can learn how to set our boundaries to be simple, kind, and clear. Okay, so there's 5 steps to this. And those of you that have your workbook, this is really a powerful practice. So I would suggest that you go and make sure that you do the workbook and notice what you're noticing. So there are really 5 steps. First one is to notice what you're feeling. And that's really important. What's okay for you? The second is to name it. What do you feel? Okay, if you notice a boundary has been crossed, you have to identify what you feel in that moment. And then you can decide what you want instead. So these are the five steps: notice, name, decide, and then you get to say simply, kindly, and clear what you need. And lastly, number 5, honor your truth, even if others don't. Okay, so which of these 5 feels the hardest for you right now? Is it noticing what's okay for you and what's not? I know that's been something I've navigated because I get confused. And sometimes, I don't notice what's okay for me and what's not. I'm on auto yes. I'm like a human doing instead of a human doing, especially with my husband, right? And so Brenda says, to say simple, kind, and clear, it's the hardest. It really is, Brenda. That's true. Because we're women. By our very nature, we communicate, don't we? We're emotional. That's our superpower. But it's also adds a whole lot of words that make things really hard. And then, so number 4, yeah, honoring myself. How many of us set a boundary, then we go back and say, I'm sorry, right? Yeah, Jackie, how come we do that? What do you think? You can unmute. Why do you think we do that?
I think we don't stand in our own energy, our own safe self. So somewhere younger, someone we did something in our authentic self, and someone said that's not good or laughed or something, and then it triggers us to hide. So
Mhm.
that boundary, it triggers you to, when you come out in your energy, which we're supposed to, when that happens, someone will look at you funny and it will trigger that moment and you go back in. So
Oh my
that's
God,
that
it's so true.
goes back.
How many people have had that experience, right? God, yeah. Just do a hell yeah in the comments. It's like, hell yeah, right?
Yeah.
How many of this? I've had this experience. I used to go back and say, I'm sorry because I felt guilty. Oh my God. How many of you have had that feeling? I felt guilty. Or first, I feel really strong because I said the thing. Anybody have that feeling? Oh my God, I said the thing. Yeah. And then it settles. And in the settling, two things happen. Number one, I get scared, right? Number two, I feel guilty. Okay, so get curious about that. I think this is really powerful stuff. We have to notice what we feel. The feeling will always set you free. But we have to take the time to stop. We have to stop, ladies. That's why we talk about mindfulness, right? Being mindful in our day. So some of you said yes and hell yes and oh my God, absolutely. And it really is hard with others that have different personalities from me. Yeah, I have a really strong personality, right? I'm very clear on who I am. It's been a long road to hoe. How many of you are like me? You're like, yeah, I got a strong personality. Yeah, I do. We're leaders. It's like, give me a stage, I'm on it. Right? And so my experience has been that my husband, anybody, how many of you here are with a partner? Okay, how many of you have had this experience where your partner says something, yeah, and maybe he's said this thing for years, like Ken and I have been together, oh my God, over half my life now. And I am on the automatic, not say a word, right? Cross the boundary, I feel it, but I don't say a word. And I call that shrinking ourselves. Yeah, right. And then you say the thing, and what do we do? Do we go back and say we're sorry? Right? Well, I'm going to show you how not to do that, why that's highly damaging to you. Okay, that's really important to know. Okay, so your body knows before your mind does. Discomfort equals data. So what my body says, it's like that gives you a lot of information. Okay, everybody, I want you to think of a recent moment you felt uncomfortable. And this could be with your partner, it could be with your clients, it can be at work, it could be with your children. Think of a recent moment you felt uncomfortable. Where did it show up in your body? Your stomach, your shoulders, your jaw, your heart? Where did that show up for you? Let me know in the chat. Your brain, in the shoulders, the head, the neck, the body language, the hands, cold hands, chest, heart, head, headache, stomach, gut and shoulders. Yes. So all of these areas for women. And I cannot speak for men, although, by the way, I do coach men on boundaries, interestingly enough. So we feel these in all these places. The body really does keep the score, right? So what we find, and research is showing, is that heart attack often comes from pain, sadness, sorrow, from the brain, okay? From not speaking up. Notice how a lot of women have thyroid issues, 40 or better. What do you make of that? What do you make of that? How about neck issues, tight neck, shoulders? What do you make of that? Let's talk a little bit about arthritis and inflammation and pain. Because our body keeps the score and our emotions give us a signal in our body before our brain registers this. It's powerful stuff. Okay, ladies, now you know and you've identified the body part. If that body part could talk, what would it say? Who would like to share? What would your body parts say? I can tell you. Okay, Anita, thank you. You might.
I would definitely say my body would turn around and say, speak up. I have no problem talking on a stage, talking to my clients. But when some of those boundaries get crossed with my husband or family, it's like whoa, I'll lock it up. I have no problem if there's a boundary crossed or anything with a client, immediately I'm on top of it. But if there is a emotional connection to someone, that's what my body is saying. Speak it. Speak it.
Speak it, speak your
Yeah.
truth, right? So, right from here, huh?
Right from here.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's powerful.
Mhm.
That's a powerful share. And you're a powerful speaker. Isn't that amazing how we have a room full of leaders, high achievers, amazing women that lead women, and we struggle with speaking our truth with the people we love the most. And this is natural. This is why we lose connection with ourselves because we're doing so much for everyone and everything. Yet we often don't come home to ourselves, and the body really does. Oh, Elizabeth's body says, loosen up, baby, lighten up. Yeah, headaches, headaches, that's a big deal. That's not a little thing, that's huge, right? And your body would say, stop worrying about what other people think about you. Yes, 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 and more yes. How many people worry about what other people think of them, right? What did your mom tell you growing up? What will the neighbors think? You hear this voice? I had this voice in first grade. How do you think my first grade years were? Yeah, guys, when I share the post of the girls at the ballet bar and one upside down, I am that girl. All right. And then our mind does a thing too. Okay, this is powerful. So listening to our body. So your body is always whispering the whole time, it's whispering to you. Now we're going to start listening. All right. It's time to listen because that is the secret. That's the special sauce, is listening to your body and unraveling the confusion. How many of you are familiar with a psychological practice called CBT? Maybe some of you have had this in therapy. It's called cognitive behavioral therapy. And cognitive behavioral therapy means that we get to not only understand our thoughts, but we understand our behaviors and the reason why we've played through these behaviors. And that then helps us to reframe and change them. And then through the secret of mindfulness is more helpful, which is what I utilize in my coaching practice is something called cognitive behavioral therapy. Although we're not doing therapy, okay, we're doing these wonderful practices of understanding us in a fun way because boundaries are not easy. They're hard, but we can do this. We can do this thing, ladies. The first step is feeling it though, okay? Now, know one thing, the first feeling you're going to have is anger. How many of you get pissed off like right away? It's like, I'm pissed. That's it. I've had it. Yeah, thanks, Liz, for sharing that nonverbal. Yeah, I'm pissed. All right. I invite you to get underneath that. Let me invite you to get underneath that feeling and listen. Take a break, stay in that listening, and notice the truth. That's the true thing. That's what's really going on. All right. Got a little coaching tip right there. Okay, guys, here we go. Boundaries aren't walls. They're your body's way of saying this matters. Okay, you guys got any questions for me? Little Q&A. Okay, so what if Okay. So when you go back and you say you're sorry, what do you feel like afterwards? You guys can let me know in the chat. You can raise your hand here. What's your body do? What do you feel? You feel terrible. Yeah, you feel guilt. Then you say you're sorry. You feel defeated. You feel like crap, right? So, what else? Is there anything else you feel? I mean, what do you feel after you do the thing? We feel confused. Yes, I agree, Tara. That is powerful. Confusion is a big deal. Disappointed? What are you disappointed in, Jen? Oh, not Jen, Jackie. What are you disappointed in? And Jen, how do you feel? In what way do you feel deflated? You guys asked me some questions about this, right? So when you feel confused, what do you need, right? When you feel controlled, what would help you, right? You feel violated. God, that's huge, Brenda. Thank you for sharing that. Irritated by apologizing for them overstepping your boundaries. Yeah, what do? We put ourselves last. So we did such a great job saying, hey guys, you know, I don't want this. And then we feel bad, we feel guilty. I get this, I teach women how to let go of the nasty Nancy dialogue, right? In between that time that you say your boundary and you have time to settle and you feel guilty, what's the dialogue, right? Like for me, I'm a bad person. They won't love me anymore. I let them down. And then I ask you, whose voice is that? Yeah, Alyssa, I hear you talking. I just can't hear you really. Okay, ladies, here we go. So they put the blame back on you. Okay, Brenda, there you go. That's powerful. What Brenda has talked about, you guys are really going to learn a little bit more about. Now, Rome was not built in a day. We're starting with the first step, which is feeling what you feel in your body. So this week, your life work is to notice what you feel, right? When your limits are crossed. First of all, we have to be body aware throughout our day and in our interactions. Make a note and just write it down. Okay, write it down in your workbook, write it down in that moment. And this is something to share because next Wednesday, we're going to play with saying what you actually want instead. So once we know the situation, how you feel, now we're going to play with asking for that and how to say it in a way that doesn't sound mean. Okay. So Jackie says she agrees validation she needs in some way. And they put the blame back on you, right? They put oh man, I want so bad to coach right now, but I can't because I want you guys to feel this. Okay. All right, Hillary, what are you feeling right now? You're muted.
Oh, right now, what am I feeling? I am intrigued and I feel like my boundaries aren't necessarily crossed that often because I'm a reformed people pleaser. So I don't I don't let people step on me too much. So this will be interesting, but I am going to be peopling a lot this week. So,
Nice.
Which my introvert self doesn't necessarily love. So it'll be interesting, but no, this is great. And I like being, in this group. And so
Yeah, I think that's super powerful. I'll be peopling a lot this week. This is good. You know what's interesting and what we learn as we move through some of these sessions is there's so many different kinds of boundaries, right? And that's really interesting because I think so often we are not sure about that. But yes, you're going to have a lot of practice and you'll know right away when something has been crossed and then you want to identify what you feel. Really important. And then Jen, she has someone that's crossing her boundaries relentlessly, and it's her own internal boundaries that she really wants to practice the most. And I think that's really good. So noticing that feeling is going to really body build those internal boundaries. Okay, so Tara, what are your thoughts on that?
So I feel like a lot of the confusion and when we have those moments of boundaries is this a valid boundary or is it just me like thinking something being overly sensitive or something from the past trickling in? Like, is this a valid boundary or am I just making, in my situation with my husband, it seems to be like you're over emotional or you're, is it, that's kind of where I'm confused about. Like, are these valid boundaries or is it just me being controlling more?
Mm,
That's,
your brain thinks that this is valid, right?
I mean, I feel
Then
like it does. I feel like I need to have more boundaries and I don't have really
okay,
any.
your whatever your brain is thinking, you're right. Honor your
Okay.
feelings, honor what you feel. Notice what you feel, walk away from the story. Okay.
Okay.
So this week, notice what you feel and write it down. Ladies, when the judger comes up, the judger is going to go on vacation. Okay. And we're going to bring just the feeling forward. Who is willing to give themselves permission this week to do that? Raise your hand. Yeah. Let's feel it. Right? Oh, Petra, thank you. Like, what are your thoughts, Petra? What do you feel right now?
Oh, Laura, I'm sick. I lost my voice.
Oh, oh no, darling. I'm
I
so
would really
sorry.
love to talk, but
I really love you too.
oh yes. So maybe next time because I'm not feeling very well.
I understand.
I'm just listening.
Oh, take care, darling. Okay. Anybody else want to share? Brenda, what are you feeling right now?
I'm kind of feeling like I forgot who said it, but they said they don't feel alone. Like, there's more of us that feel like similar, like so makes me not feel so bad. But yeah, I'm feeling empowered. And the one thing I wanted to say is, family especially has taken advantage of me in the past, and like lately I've been saying no to people, to family, and like they get put off, like, well, okay. And I feel like I have to think of excuses why I'm saying no, just so I'm not, you know, being asked all it. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Um,
Sure.
yeah, so it's making me realize these things, these conversations. Yeah.
Well, isn't it interesting how our brain, right, wants to take
Mhm.
over,
Yeah.
for our body because we've been so used to not advocating for ourselves. You're not
Yes.
alone. We all have this, right? We all have this
Hmm.
feeling we're so used to
Yeah.
not advocating for ourselves. And, this happens in a lot of environments, darling. You're not alone. And that's what's so powerful about having a group of amazing women like this, because
Yeah.
each woman in this room, including me, we are always works in progress on our boundaries. You are never good at your boundaries. I promise you that.
Okay.
Why? Because number one, you're a woman. Number two, you're breathing. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I can't speak for men, but I'm going to tell you something. It's the women that say, "Oh, I got that boundary thing down. Check, got it."
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
Yeah. I know. Yeah. It's,
So, it's not easy. This isn't easy work, but with support and love and tender
mhm.
care with you. Give
Right.
yourself grace, ladies. Give yourself absolute grace this week.
I
Because if
would
you're
like
feeling,
to, sorry for interrupting. I need to say it even with my damaged voice. For me, the hardest thing is putting boundaries with my mother, for example. Why? Because she has a very strong, tough personality, and she would kind of blackmail me with guilt. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I would step up I would say something, no, this is not good, this is not for me. And then she would get really sad or angry, and I would feel bad. And then I would apologize because, like, I don't want to be a monster. I don't want my mom being sad or whatever, but she would kind of use it against me. Like this, it's, yeah, no, that's my issue with putting boundaries.
Brenda gave you the greatest feedback. She's like, yep, moms are great actors. Yeah,
Yeah,
moms are great actors. And you know what, Petra? How many, did you see the hands that went up? You guys, by the way, down below where there's a little heart says
it would
reactions.
make me feel so guilty, and then I would apologize for something that it's true. I really, it's crazy.
Oh, that's called gaslighting and it's wrong. And, this is powerful. In Warrior God's Boundary Builder Inner Circle, I'll share a quick story with you guys. Corey, who many of you know, Corey Ramos was in the Warrior God's Boundary Builder Inner Circle. I invited her to join us in our 10-week coaching group. And she had a similar experience with her adult parents. And Corey was able to navigate this relationship with a dialogue that she practiced because in this group, in the inner circle, we dialogue. Everybody dialogues, right? So you actually learn what to say, how to react, respond. And here we go back to where we were, and then we'll sew up the session. She noticed what she was feeling, she named it, she decided what she was going to do with this with her adult father. Okay. And she also has adult children. She's really navigated this in a powerful way through the inner circle. And then she honored her truth because that's the hardest part is when you have a toxic parent, it's not your fault. By the way, it's not your mother's fault either. She thinks she's being a really good parent. She doesn't know. Isn't that crazy? She really doesn't know this. So, yeah, right on, Anita. Yeah. So we have that experience. But when you know how to dialogue, you can stand in your power. And the more you practice, the better you get, guys. Okay, so now remember your life work this week. Come to class prepared next Wednesday, and we will be live streaming into the Facebook group next week because I had like 31 women sign up, guys. 31 women. So that's super cool. Yay. Well, I'm thinking they're thinking we're over there and we couldn't figure it out, April and myself. But check it out. Next Wednesday, we will. Okay, so what I'd love for all of you in closing is this is an opportunity. I love to close all of my groups with us sending one blessing to each other before we close the group. So I'd like for you to share, you can share a pearl wisdom, you can share something you'd love to share with the group that you've learned that's helped you a lot, because every single one of you are teachers and wise, every single one. You've heard this, when the student is ready, the teacher arrives. When the teacher is ready, the student arrives. In my belief system, this is what I believe. We are all teachers. We are all students. Okay. And so in closing, I would love for each of you just to, I'll call your name and I'd love for you to share a blessing, a pearl of wisdom, something that you know will encourage the other women in the room, including me, to listen to our bodies this week. Okay. So Brenda, what would you like to share?
I like to say that in each one of us, there's a superwoman. I recently lost 30 pounds in like 4 months, and I feel much more confident. I still have a little more to go, but thank you. But, I thought it was impossible, but I feel like, I can dress however I want. I don't care what people think. Don't care what people think. I'm working on that myself. But each of us, we have strength. We have it in us. We just have to find it and get it out. So thank you.
All right. Yay, Hillary found the reaction button. Way to go, guys. At the bottom it says react. You can send love. You can send all the really cool emojis. I like a lot. Petra, I know you can't talk, but you're so wise.
Never worry anymore about what others think about you. You cannot control it. No matter what you do, no matter how great you are, there will always be somebody who disagrees, who doesn't like you, who has something to say. Don't waste your time and energy on that.
Yes, 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 and more yes. Okay, Hillary.
I have a permission as part of a pearl of wisdom, um, because it is powerful to say no, but as women, it's hard to learn. So I had someone give me permission to say no so that I could learn how to do it. So if you feel that you need permission to start saying no, you have it. I freely give it to you. And I want you to enjoy using it. The first time's the only scary time, I promise. And then you'll love it.
Then all hell breaks loose. Okay, everybody unmic and we're all going to say together, I give you permission. Okay, here we go. Unmic.
I
I give you
Give
permission.
you
I give
permission.
permission to
Give
say
me permission.
no.
Woo!
Yeah.
Okay, Jen, what pearl wisdom would you like to share?
Said Jen, right?
Yep.
I feel like I'm not in a good place to share a pearl of wisdom, but I will say this though. This is how I want to flip it. As a conflict avoidant, people pleaser person, know that once you start setting those boundaries and really recognizing where you're people pleasing versus like having to set a boundary, that you will feel it in your body as a reaction, and that even though it feels awful is a wonderful thing because you are moving forward with it.
Yes.
I would say so. And full disclosure, I set a boundary this morning and I'm feeling all the things, like the guilt, the what if I'm wrong, what if I overreacted, my body is feeling tense and I'm trying to kind of come down from it. And yeah, but I also know it's part of the journey, and I appreciate this call, and it's just timely and good.
It's absolutely part of the journey. And, you guys are free to direct message me. And Jennifer, I think, Jen, you and I have, we will be talking soon, I think. I have you in my schedule. But guys, feel free to reach out to me, direct message me. We can do a little chat. I'll help you in any way I can. But you're right. Again, you guys, Jennifer is a great example of actually working it. She's working it, right? Let's celebrate this with her. Congratulations, Jen. You're working through all the things right now. You're giving yourself permission. Hillary, there's your thing. She's doing your thing. She's doing your thing. Okay. All right. Juanita, share your pearls of wisdom with us.
Well, one of the things that kind of came up for me while during this is really and truly that, when your body's feeling the things, when you are, because you feel guilt, because you feel shame, or because it feels awkward, when you are setting those boundaries, it's not because you're wrong, it's because it's new.
That's right. It's not because you're wrong, it's because it's new. Now that should be the affirmation of the day. It's not because you're wrong, it's because it's new.
Because it's new.
Sarah Marie, it's not because you're wrong, it's because it's new. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And new feelings, new experiences are a direct subconscious signal that we're at the edge of our absolute greatness. We're at the edge of growth. Believe it, trust it, know it, feel it, allow. Allow and accept, 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 accept. Powerful. All right, Elizabeth.
Hey, Laura. Well, I think staying calm and staying consistent and saying no with grace and just thinking about it every single time before you engage the mouth. Just take that deep breath and really think it through.
Ah, yeah, I love it when we use the word just. Oh, no big deal. Just, chill out.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the voice of wisdom, guys, right there. Okay. Elizabeth is the voice of wisdom. Take a break, take a pause. There's power in the pause, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Tara, share your wisdom with us, darling.
So, I think a big issue that I had is the feeling valued and feeling like if I do speak up, then nobody's gonna like me. I'm not gonna have friends, or my husband's gonna go leave and find somebody else. So I feel like your culture is kind of created by what you've intentionally or unintentionally allowed. And we need to be clear about what we value and what we're allowing around us. About what's compelling and memorable, what you stand for, and kind of what you'll allow in your brain. Why am I thinking these thoughts? Why is this happening? And for me, it's like, at what point do I allow that to keep me bound up and quiet, living in that fear? Because if it does happen, it happens. At least I know I'm valuing myself enough to establish a boundary and to voice my concerns. And if that means friendless and husbandless,
Taking
I'll
you
start all
seriously.
over.
Like Brenda says, taking you seriously,
Yeah.
right? Taking you
Because I feel like
seriously.
that goes a long way, and that's what you're tested, even in a new relationship, whether it's
Yes.
friend or a love relationship. You
Yes.
have that initial test, and then it's the door's open a little now. Now they know. So
Okay, everybody, this is powerful what Tara Marie said. Very powerful. So everybody write this down. Okay. This is something that I think is very important. Why is a lie? Don't ask why, ask what.
mhm.
And there's a reason for that. Okay, so it's really powerful. Yes, subconscious beliefs create external results. And it's virtually impossible for us to do this on our own, which is why I put together this free coaching group, right? And why I'm continuing to put together groups of women in the inner circle, right? Because we have to, in order to shift subconscious beliefs, we cannot do this alone without the power and the support of other women like us that are having these experiences and actually practicing these practices. Like this week, you're going to feel it. Where do you feel it? Guess what? I thought I felt it here. I was wrong, because when I took that break that Liz suggested, I felt something different that was even more powerful, which was in my gut. That's the hub of the wheel. Everything revolves around your gut. If your gut is off, you're in a lot of trouble. Jackie, share your wisdom.
Well, what came to my mind, I'm sure I have a lot more, but this one came to my mind was what we learn in the dark, we speak in the light. So when we're stuck in those boundaries and we're asking, I think the biggest question we need to start asking, like especially our spouses and our children, especially growing children, and parents, like older parents, is why are you talking to me like that? Because when I started changing my boundary with my partner, I told him, my voice was even shaky. I said, "You're hurting my spirit." Like what? Because it wasn't directed right at me. He just said something and it was for me. And I said to him, "You're hurting my spirit. So why are you saying that? Like, you've got to stop saying that." I've noticed, because he was kind of befuffled. I think men can get befuddled because, we're strong or we want to control everything, but we are the nurturers. We are the person who carries the child. So right off the get-go, we got to learn how to go through 9 months of pregnancy, still work, still do this, still clean the house, the toilet, the cooking, the groceries, everything. So they look at us like we want to control everything. So I think it reminded me of going back when, years and years ago, of what I learned in the dark, I speak in the light.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. So we need to use our voice to say, why are you talking to me like that? And that really hurts my feelings. So I never told you this before, but I'm telling you now. So then they'll stop saying, like, "Oh, you want to control everything," or,
Well, I think the
"You're
most
hormonic."
powerful, yeah, I think the powerful nugget here is what you learn in the dark, you can speak in the light, right?
Yes.
And so this is powerful. I think that is a really, man, that's the truth right there. That is the truth, because what we learn in the dark, we speak in the light. So what I would say is that there are ways that we have to understand what we feel so it does not come up in the dark. We have to identify our feelings in that moment in real time. And it's because we do this, we turn ourselves off, we put ourselves in the back seat, we settle, okay, that we have these experiences. It's almost like it metastasizes in the dark. And now we're in these dark moments. We're in that arena. We're in the arena of acceptance and pain. So what I want you all to practice, no matter what, this is really hard. There's nothing easy about feeling what you feel when you have had a limit crossed, because we don't know our limits. And even if you do, check it out. You're going to be blown away this week by something that you learn that you never knew about yourself. You'll be going, "Oh my God, that is a limit for me. I never knew that." So in closing, what I will share with all of you is this is not easy, but you are showing up for yourself for the next 3 sessions. You're showing up. You're supporting, you're helping other women, because together, ladies, we rise. We rise together. And when you're a coach, and all of you are in different areas, your leaders, your coaches, when you rise, you say to your sister, "Okay, here I am. Let's come up together." Right? That's what we're here for. We're here to say, we come together, we rise, we help, we support. And that is powerful, because we cannot live our best life in this arena if we are closed-minded. We have to open our minds like curious children about ourselves. Leave the judger on the sidelines. This is caution, okay? Now, I don't know about permission slips, but I do know one thing, is that I will not play with the judge in my head this week, because I'm going to feel stuff. Now, if you believe in what I am saying and you're ready to be proactive, you give yourself permission, you stand in your truth, you get on your soapbox, you say hell yes, and feel it. Just feel it, okay? Leave the why, leave the why alone, okay? Do the what. What can I do? What do I feel? What feels good? What feels bad? Where do I feel that? Okay. Oh man, you guys are awesome. And yes, Jen, we rise together. I love you guys. Thank you so much for showing up today. I'm so proud of us for showing up for us. I love us. I think we're amazing women. Now, oh yeah, right, exactly. I love the Judgy McJudgerson. Yeah, we're gonna leave that. Okay. This is my favorite thing is blowing that guy and girl or mom or internal belief out of my life. Okay. So I just want to thank everybody for coming. And I just want to tell you all, and Brenda, if this is helpful, do you think I wasn't judged when I changed a market? I brought personal training to the state of Montana in 1992 and grew the market, cultivated the market. There were no personal trainers in Montana. How many women do you think were nasty to me, judged me, talked about me behind my back? Yeah, you guys, you got this. You can't worry about that stuff. All right. I will see you guys next week. Yoo-hoo! Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.